Hi, so it's just me today. Another episode of the Critical Introvert Show. I'm your host, Senor Filth. So it's just me today, as I said. It's been, you know, quite a weird uh, week and a half since my hiatus. Took vacation over Arizona, and yeah, it was just nice to just be out of California and LA. Just the environment just felt different, which I like, and it's a trip because like we stopped at a Walmart, my girlfriend and I, and she didn't have a mask, and I had mine that I use for work, and she went, she asked me to go in and get one, and I asked where they were at the store. They said they were just flat out sold out of them. And while I was there, I also noticed that there was a lot of people in the aisles not wearing them. Just fuck it, I'm not wearing this shit. And so I just sort of gave my mask to my girlfriend, and she was fine with it. She was, walking around with it, and I wasn't. And yeah, no one really messed with me. And even on the way back from Arizona, I stopped in some like Indio, California, and like Claremont or something like that. And even there, I wasn't really bothered for not wearing a mask. And I mean, it makes me wonder like how much people are done with it, and do the people that are done with it, how much influence they have. Um, because I think they have a lot more influence than people. It's almost like people don't give themselves credit for how much influence they have amongst everyone else. So yeah, that was kind of nice. Um, so yeah, for today's episode, I just sort of want to kind of go around going over some things, just a whole Rogan thing that happened with Sanjay Gupta. I wasn't able to find the whole. Well, I take that back. I haven't really seen the exchange myself, um, but I've only seen clips of it, and this is the fullest clip that I can kind of find at the moment. It's like a 6 minute, 5 to 6 minute clip of him and Sanjay just kind of talking about this thing, and talking about the ivermectin thing, CNN, and how it was portrayed, and apparently, I think just today, CNN even tripled down on their handling of Rogan and this whole thing. Um, so yeah, there's that. Of course, I want to get into the whole Chappelle thing, and there's even something that happened with a guy named Bry- Bryson Gray, I believe his name is. Is it that his name? I forget his name. Uh, Bryson Gray. About a song he did. I was recently banned. Let's Go Brandon song. Um, so there's that, and it just all these things that are happening now. It's it's a trip when I hear people say that like cancel culture isn't a big deal, and maybe I can even play that Barry Weiss clip that she was on CNN also with Brian Sattler, and and I think the main point that she was trying to make with a lot of this was that when you have big institutions like mainstream institutions that are supposed to be the arbiters of truth or whatever, um, they have a lot more power than they admit to having. And when they have this power to deem certain subjects as credible or um, you know legit, or just pretty much just like you know own the real estate on general popular opinion, it it really messes with just genuine conversation and genuine public discourse. And it's a trip when, like, things, like, when people deny that, and on a very consistent basis, there's always a news story of someone saying things that go against whatever the mainstream script is. You know what I mean? Whether it be Nicki Minaj or Rogan or Chappelle or anything like that. Just any kind of deviation from this really narrow line, this really narrow script. Like that person is somehow kind of, treated as an apostate. And and like it's shit like this is what drives a division. And I can't think as to why, like, this stuff is ignored. Because I think this is a lot bigger an issue than people want to make. Because when it affects just the dinner table, when it affects interactions with your friends or your family and things like that, it is a problem. So yeah, let's go to the Rogan Sanjay Gupta thing first. It's only like 6 minutes, but let's just go over it.
So for you, Joe Rogan,
yes,
I would say you've had it.
Yes.
So now get one shot of the vaccine.
No.
Why not?
Because I have better immunity than I would if I was vaccinated. Right?
Yes.
Don't I?
I think your immunity is really good.
So why, if I've already gotten through COVID and I was really only sick for a day, and then 5 days later I was negative, and I do have the natural antibodies now, why would I take a chance in getting vaccinated on top of that?
It's a very fair question, Very fair. He didn't deny it, Sanjay. So, I mean, let's see if he responds or he just kind of begins to pivot. Let's keep going.
By the way, I'm glad you're better. I'm glad it only lasted a day.
You're probably the only one at CNN that's glad.
No. We're not.
The rest of them are all lying about me taking horse medication. And we should talk about that.
That bothered you.
It should bother you, too. They're lying at your network about people taking human drugs versus drugs for veterinary.
Calling it a horse dewormer is not a flattering thing. I get that.
It's a lie. It's a lie on a news network, and it's a lie that's a willing... That's a lie that they're conscious of. This is not a mistake.
Yeah.
They're unfavorably framing it as veterinary medicine.
Well, the FDA put this thing out. You saw that. Did you see that thing that the FDA put out?
What did the FDA put out?
It was a tweet, and it was snarky. I admit it.
You can tell he's kind of shaken up, Sanjay. Sanjay or Sanjay? But anyways, he seems a little shaken up, but like he's out of his element.
He put this thing out. You saw that. Did you see that thing that the FDA put out?
What did the FDA put out?
It was a tweet, and it was snarky. I admit it. They said, "You are not a horse. You are not a cow. Stop taking this stuff," or something like that.
Why would you say that when you're talking about a drug that's been given out to billions and billions of people, a drug that was responsible for one of the inventors of it making
Nobel Prize.
The Nobel Prize in 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, a drug that has been shown to stop viral replication in vitro. You know that, right? Why would they lie and say that's horse dewormer? I can afford people medicine, motherfucker. This is ridiculous. It's just a lie.
I don't think anyone is...
But don't you think that a lie like that is dangerous on a news network when you know that they know they're lying? You know that they know that I took medicine. Like, here it is. This is ivermectin.
You got
this
it with
right
you.
Here. Somebody gave it to me.
All right, hang on. The thing is, we're like going so fast. Like I feel like I'm missing.
Do you think that's a problem that your news network lies?
Well, I don't.
Dude,
what did they say?
They lied and said I was taking horse dewormer. First of all,
go get him, Joe, man. Good.
It was prescribed to me by a doctor.
Yeah.
Along
They
with
shouldn't have said
a
it was
bunch
worse.
of other
If it was-
medications.
if you got a human pill, because there were people that were taking it, the veterinary medication, and you're not, obviously. You got it from a doctor, so that it shouldn't be called that. Ivermectin can be a very effective medication for parasitic disease. And as you say, it's probably, I think what, 250 million people have taken it around the world.
more,
I get that.
way more.
So
Way more. Billions of people have taken it.
Can I just come back to the one I want to talk about? Two
No.
things on
You
the
have
ledger.
you have, before we get to that, does it bother you that the news network you work for out and out lied, just outright lied about me taking horse dewormer?
They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
You didn't ask? You didn't think that
I
was
didn't-
you're the
I
medical
didn't-
guy over there.
I didn't ask. I should have asked before
But they
coming
did
on
it
your
with
podcast.
such glee.
No,
Yes,
Joe.
they did. I watched.
You watched?
I watched.
You watched? No, I don't think that.
He seems really jittery, Sanjay. Super uncomfortable. Okay, she's kind of sort of shaking.
Watched.
You watched?
I watched.
You watched? No, I don't think there's
Yes,
glee.
they did.
I don't. No one takes.
Joe Rogan says he has
She's taking-
COVID, taking livestock drug despite warnings. Yeah.
Jamie had to pull this up.
You want
huh?
to play it?
Does she
This
have
is your
glee?
news network.
I'm gonna watch.
Let's see.
I'm gonna watch.
Rogan telling his 13 million Instagram followers that he was treated with several drugs, and he included ivermectin on the list, a drug used for livestock. The FDA and the CDC warn against using to treat COVID.
Turns out I got COVID.
Look, they put a
So
yellow
we
filter
immediately
on me
threw
too.
the kitchen sink at it. All kinds
did.
of meds, monoclonal,
You see the
antibiotics,
original
Yeah, they did. They certainly did.
video versus that? I look like shit there.
Z-Pack,
Do you know that?
I think you look good.
Pause. It's enough.
prednisone.
I don't
That's
think
enough, Jamie.
I don't
But-
think Aaron had glee.
Oh, well, it's more Brian Stelter was the gleeful one. But the point is, that's a lie.
It can be used for humans. I get it. I totally.
Not just could be used for humans, is often used for humans along with all the other drugs I took, all human drugs.
Yes.
They know it's a human drug,
It's right. But
and they lied.
the thing
It's defamatory.
it is yeah, they shouldn't have done that.
It's defamatory, right?
Well, I don't know if it's defamatory.
I bet it is.
Well, I'm not a lawyer.
It's
But-
a lie.
Well, see, here's the thing. You can have nuanced discussions about this.
No,
right?
you can't.
Yeah, you
You
can.
can't have nuanced discussions about lying.
It's hard to say it's really a nuanced discussion when the smearing that they did on Joe was so bad. You know? I mean, it's one thing to just get things kind of vaguely wrong, like, okay. But when you're outwardly sort of smearing someone for some kind of an agenda, it looks bad on, the news source. And, can you at least admit that?
I'm not a lawyer.
It's
But-
a lie.
Well, see, here's the thing. You can have nuanced discussions about this.
No,
right?
you can't.
Yeah,
you can't have nuanced discussions about lying about someone taking horseshoe
There
wormer.
was no glee, by the way, from her. She
Well,
was.
I
I don't think
didn't watch her.
anyone takes people's illness.
Oh, yes, they do.
They don't want you to get
stop
sick,
It.
Joe.
Yes, they do.
They
were
want you to get
upset that
sick.
I got healthy. That's one thing they didn't report on. The fact that I was negative 5 days later and working out 6 days later.
Well,
6
Wow.
days after infection, I was back in the gym.
I'm glad.
Felt great.
I'm glad you do. I really
Me
am.
too.
I think
Thank you.
Most of the
I'm
people.
glad you're glad. You're a nice guy.
Most of the people I know, I think, would be glad that you. I don't think that there was any glee.
There's a lot of people out there that weren't glad. But my point is, you're working for a news organization. If they're lying about a comedian taking horse medication, what are they telling us about Russia? What are they telling us about Syria?
I think people don't understand this too, because I think they just sort of think that, like, because they're not, they know CNN's a bad source, so they're just not going to listen to CNN. It's more about, like, paying attention to, like, what the narrative that CNN pushes. Is it similar, or is it the same narrative that every other sources are pushing out there? I think that's something that people just that seem to forget. Because it wasn't just, like he's mentioning, like, there's other things, Syria and all this shit.
A news organization, if they're lying about a comedian taking horse medication, what are they telling us about Russia? What are they telling us about Syria? Do you understand that that's why people get concerned about the veracity of the news?
The concern was, look, just the nuanced part of this. And you're not taking a horse dewormer. I get it. You got that as a legitimate medication from a pharmacy.
Somebody
whatever.
gave me. That's kind of a joke. My friend Megan brought.
Yeah, good for him. Let's see how, Sanjay Gupta on CNN responded. Because, these are the people that he works for. So let's see how this happened. Like, what did he respond with when he's with his crew?
Our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, sat down for a 3-hour one-on-one with controversial podcast host Joe Rogan last night. Rogan remains a vaccine skeptic despite having caught COVID-19 himself. Let's listen to part of this.
What does that have to be? What does him catching it really have to do with him being a skeptic about it? He's more skeptical. Like he's rightfully skeptical. It's a weird way to kind of put that.
Rogan remains a vaccine skeptic despite having caught COVID-19.
Doesn't he have a right to? Because he himself is an example of someone that doesn't need it. And he found a different route. So, why are you framing this like that?
19 himself. Let's listen to part of this.
So would you now, with what you know now, and having had COVID, would you have wished that you had been vaccinated beforehand?
But I got
you almost
through
got
it.
vaccinated.
Yeah, but I explained all that.
You got through it.
But I got through COVID.
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So that was my thought was.
I'm curious to know if this conversation on CNN is going to be based on him calling CNN out, or based on him being a skeptic over the vaccine. Kind of curious to see how this unfolds.
I'm a healthy person. I exercise constantly. I'm always taking vitamins. I take care of myself. I felt like I was going to be okay, and that was true. It was correct. I'm happy. I got through it. I don't wish it upon anyone. It wasn't fun, but it wasn't the worst cold I've ever had, and I got over it fairly quickly, relatively speaking.
I think that, and again, I am truly glad about that. I'm not, all kidding aside, I don't think anybody wishes you, everyone wants you to be well and healthy. But I think the question is just in terms of the nuance of this. It's not a strategy to recommend people get infected.
I'm not recommending anybody get infected.
So they should get vaccinated.
I think a lot of people should get vaccinated.
You're talking,
I think
a lot of vulnerable people.
Yeah.
If you just said vulnerable people, there'd be a lot of
older people, fat people. I think a lot of those folks. My real concern is this urge to vaccinate children, and I don't know what kind of data we have on the long-term effects of this.
All right, with us now.
I don't think they're going to touch on that. Man, fuck. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see them try to explain that whole part, the lies part. But anyways, let's keep going.
Sanjay, first off, I'm so glad you did this because there's so many people who can listen to the sense that you make. Tell us why you thought this was so important.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think the media landscape's pretty segmented, as we know, and I think there's a lot of people who listen on CNN who are accepting and hearing these messages and understanding the science. But I wanted to go to a place where there was clearly he has a big audience, and as you mentioned, he's been a skeptic of the vaccines. I listened to his podcast. I thought there could be some.
But what's wrong with being a skeptic over that? I just don't understand. There's this weird villainization on just being skeptical on so many things. It's good to be skeptical. Things get discovered through skepticism. So I just can't understand why it's come to a point where skepticism is so vilified.
I listened to his podcast. I thought there could be some common ground there, and decided, to lean into the nuance for 3 hours, which, by the way, is a long time to talk to anybody. I don't know that I've talked to anybody, no breaks, no distractions, no phones for 3 hours before, but I think that's how you get at some of, these real conversations.
Look, we talk to you for 3 hours, but they're always trying to wrap us. Always after the second question, Sanjay. I do want to play another exchange you had with him. You heard him talk about vaccines and kids there. This is another exchange you had on that.
And, myocarditis can be a really frightening thing. They can develop chest pain, shortness of breath, things like that.
It's inflammation of the heart.
That's
correct?
what it is. And you got to think of it like this. The reason can happen in young people, can happen in anybody, but people who have really robust immune response. You're basically giving the vaccine and you're counting on the immune system to really respond to that. If it responds a lot in someone with a really healthy immune system, it can cause more widespread inflammation. People feel miserable for a day or two, and in this case, it can cause inflammation around the heart.
Do we know what the long-term consequences of myocarditis in young people that comes from the vaccine are?
I don't think we don't know. And I think the only way we can know long-term things, to be perfectly honest, of any of these aspects of the vaccine, the only way we can know long-term stuff is with the passage of time, for certain.
That's terrifying for parents.
It is.
The idea that your son could get vaccinated, and most likely he would have been fine if he got COVID, and that your son could catch myocarditis and have permanent heart problems.
I don't know that we can say the person will be fine if they get COVID, Joe.
A young boy?
Well, if
most young boys...
Wait, what? Let's go back to that. That's a weird thing to say.
We can say the person will be fine if they get COVID, Joe.
Myocarditis and have permanent heart problems.
I don't know that we can say the person will be fine if they get COVID, Joe.
A young boy?
Well,
when the average survival rate is like 98%, and then that is a pretty reasonable thing to say. I mean, why is that so dangerous to say?
Most young boys with no comorbidities.
When you say fine, you mean what? That they're not going to die?
I mean, like me. I had COVID.
You look like you're strong as an ox. Yes, I give you that. But you get teenagers who will have these long COVID naps. You get.
What does that mean?
They're tired all the time. They get these sort of long hauler type symptoms. Mm-hmm. Less so in kids, but when you talk about 33% of people having persistent symptoms that last months, I just feel like we define, I think we're allowed to have a nuanced conversation about this. We measure things in terms of life and death.
Yes.
And I get that. I mean, it's easy. It's public health. That's the way the numbers get presented. And frankly, that's our fault as well in the media to just say, this is how many people have died. We don't know a lot about what this virus does to the body.
Right.
We probably shouldn't just think of it as another type of pneumonia or cold.
But if your statement is that we don't know this statement right here,
we probably shouldn't just think of it as another type of pneumonia. Know a lot about what this virus does to the body.
Right.
We probably shouldn't just think of it as another type of pneumonia or cold, because it's clearly doing something else. A cold wouldn't just cause isolated loss of smell. Flu wouldn't even do that. And then so many people developing long-term symptoms.
Whew. It's a lot there. It's like trying to herd cats, Sanjay, in a discussion like that. He shoots off in all these different tangents, and he says there's a lot we don't.
I also think, too, this might be kind of sort of out of this little discussion, but I think generally why they attack people like Joe Rogan is because he kind of, I think, podcasts in general really expose people very well. It's easy for people to just stay on the script, have their little segment, and then just move the fuck on. But when you're on a podcast, you have the freedom to sort of delve more into things and different angles of it and stuff like that. So I think that's why people look at Rogan just being so controversial, because they're so used to just things being so instant, just moving on to the segment. I have this really convenient opinion that is so glorious, and I will move on from this because I am so good, and people that don't agree are so bad. So it's sort of it forces people to think of more of okay, why do I think these ideas are good? You know, have I ever thought if they actually are? Maybe they're flawed. Maybe the flaws outweigh the good. And, you know, like, I think that's sort of, again, it's kind of affecting, you know, just genuine discourse with people. Like, people just like to sort of move on from any serious subject. And it's not like, you know, it's not like you're just gonna like bring it on anybody like something horrific, but you know, if people have grown to be really uncomfortable with staying on a topic for quite some time and just fleshing it out. And, you know, I don't know, let's keep going on, because I want to hear this.
Know about this, that, and the other thing. Myocarditis, though, when you're talking about risks of myocarditis, which is inflammation around the heart, we know the risks of COVID causing that, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, and therein lies the nuance again. It is a fair question to bring up the idea of the side effect of the vaccines potentially being myocarditis. But you also have to compare this to the risk of myocarditis from the disease itself. And let me show you, I mean, because I think this was the data that Joe was talking about, although, you know, it's tough sometimes to keep up. But overall, if you look and say, there's a background rate of myocarditis that just occurs even before the pandemic. With the vaccines, how many more additional cases per 100,000 people? About 2.7, as you can see there. But from the disease itself,
I'm curious if they mention in this the thing that Rogan and him agreed on, that if you had the sickness and you know, were clear from it, then you're actually you're safer from the virus as opposed to someone who's been vaccinated. I'm curious to see if they touch on that with this.
it's around 11. I mean, to be fair, both of these are rare, and almost always these cases of myocarditis resolved. People were fine, they didn't require further treatment. But this is the whole point. The numbers you see on the screen is the whole point. You want to try and obviously reduce risk of any of these things while really emphasizing the benefits. The vaccines offer lots of benefits and actually have a lower risk of myocarditis versus the disease itself.
You mentioned,
See, he
seems to go back.
Cases of myocarditis resolved. People were fine, they didn't require further treatment. But this is the whole point. The numbers you see on the screen is the whole point. You want to try and obviously reduce risk of any of these things while really emphasizing the benefits. The vaccines offer lots of benefits and actually have a lower risk of myocarditis versus the disease itself.
You mentioned, and he seems to go back time and again to this idea that maybe getting COVID is better than getting the vaccine. I heard that repeatedly. Here's some
Which he agreed with.
of what he said.
Testing is obviously testing you to see if you have the virus.
Yes.
The therapeutic is to treat you because you have the virus.
Yes.
I still think it'd be better not to get the virus.
I think it'd be better to get the virus and recover and have amazing immunity to
But
it.
what, like,
Wouldn't it be?
Well, you could get sick, though.
You know what I think you should do? I think you
get
should get
sick.
vaccinated and then get sick.
What?
This is why.
Why?
Because then you got the vaccine protects you from a bad infection, and then you get COVID, so then you get the robust
hold on.
immunity that's imparted from having the actual disease itself, which is far more complex and comprehensive than you're getting from the vaccine that targets one specific
Yeah.
protein, right?
You can make that argument, I think.
Yeah, so that's the move. You
all right.
get vaccinated, let it wane, and hang around with a bunch of dirty people.
Okay, well,
And then get a lot of therapeutics on hand so you can take care of it quickly.
I will see your recommendation
wanna
and
do it?
and give you a recommendation.
Should have come out with us last night. You probably would have caught it.
I almost did. Yeah. Now I know what your secret plan was. No. So for you, Joe Rogan.
Yes.
I would say you've had it.
Yes.
So now get one shot of the vaccine.
No.
Why not?
Because I have better immunity than I would if I was vaccinated.
But does he, Sanjay? Also, he's not a doctor. He sure is talking like one, as if he is one, though.
By the way, it was 3 hours of that, just to give you an idea. I mean, it was a lot of mental gymnastics.
Wait. did they? Hold on. Let's. I think they just sort of skipped that part. Let's see.
But what? But
Hold on.
so for you,
Let's go
Joe
back.
Rogan,
Yes.
I would say you've had it.
Yes.
So now get one shot of the vaccine.
No.
Why not?
Because I have better immunity than I would if I was vaccinated. Right?
Yes,
Don't I?
I think your immunity is really good.
So
He just said yes.
Right?
Yes,
Don't I?
I think your immunity is really good.
So why, if I've already gotten through COVID and I was really only sick for a day, and then 5 days later I was negative, and I do have the natural antibodies now, why would I take a chance and get
Okay, they don't really answer that in this, but I think they cut that clip out.
immunity than I would if I was vaccinated?
Motherfucker.
But does he, Sanjay?
He said yes.
Also, he's not a doctor. He sure is talking like one, as if he is one, though.
By the way, it was 3 hours of that, just to give you an idea. I mean, it was
We caught them. Let's see.
a lot of mental gymnastics. And again, there's a nuance here. People who have been infected do have natural immunity. And there was a study out of Israel, which made got a lot of attention, that basically showed, at least for a period of time, their immunity was stronger than those who had received the vaccine. Here's a problem, though. One is we don't know how long that immunity lasts. People are trying to investigate that. And one of the studies that's come out showed that people who had natural immunity versus vaccinated immunity, those with natural immunity were twice as likely to get reinfected. I mean,
Heard otherwise, but
this is the data. We know with the vaccine now
Wait,
from
hold
the
on.
clinical trials. There's a study out of Israel, which got a lot of attention, that basically showed, at least for a period of time, their immunity was stronger than those who had received the vaccine. Here's a problem, though. One is we don't know how long that immunity lasts.
yeah, but can't you also say the same thing about the other way around of it? Like, you don't know how strong the immunity would last with the vaccine. I mean, that's why there's the whole booster shot shit, right? So, like the concept of let a spade be a spade is almost like, what the hell happened to that concept?
People are trying to investigate that. And one of the studies that's come out showed that people who had natural immunity versus vaccinated immunity, those with natural immunity were twice as likely to get reinfected. I mean, this is the data. We know with the vaccine now from the clinical trials and real world data, some 6 billion shots being given out around the world, that it is a safe and effective vaccine. So
But also, you know, if he already fought the thing, even if he gets it, he can just fight it the same way and he'll be fine. I mean, that might be a possibility or it might not be, but like, there's no definite yes or no on this thing, but they're so just, you know, their worldview is that they're just so right somehow that they just can't let it go. Like, just leave the fucking guy alone.
infection over vaccination should never be the message. No, people should not go out there and willingly get.
I don't think he means like to fucking go out and inject, like, you know, homeless people, like, you know, old people forcefully. I think he just means if you're the average person with the average kind of health, you know, it might be, you know, fine if you get it and if you didn't get vaccinated.
Infected in pursuit of, you know, this natural immunity. It's a terrible strategy. I think Joe understood that, although near the end of the podcast, he was advocating that I go get COVID. So, still to this point, I'm not sure if he was.
I think he was joking, dude. I mean, he is a fucking comedian. Look at her face as he says it. She goes like,
Advocating that I go get COVID. So, still to this point, I'm not sure if he was joking. I think he was joking, but that is a terrible strategy, obviously.
It doesn't really matter if he's joking, does it? If the millions of people listening to him don't know
Right.
if he.
What? So people can't have a joke here and there? What the fuck?
Strategy, obviously.
It doesn't really matter if he's joking, does it? If the millions of people listening to him don't know
Right.
if he's joking at that point.
Well, millions of people that listen to him know he's a comedian. That's his initial kind of mentality. He's a comedian. They try to make, they always try to bring levity on things. So, god damn, these people are annoying.
Is it?
I want to see this lady's face again. This is just annoying. This woman.
Get infected in pursuit of, this natural immunity. It's a terrible strategy. I think Joe understood that, although near the end of the podcast, he was advocating that I go get COVID. So, still to this point, I'm not sure if he was joking. I think he was joking, but that is a terrible strategy, obviously.
It doesn't really matter if he's joking, does it? If the millions of people listening to him don't know
Right.
if he's joking at that point. Sanjay, you're a prince. I don't know where you get
The millions of views that he gets more than you guys probably. Whatever.
your patience. I really don't. A remarkable display of calm and patience there.
He didn't really seem that calm. He seemed a lot more jittery, but whatever. I think we should really watch one of the best breakdowns of this I've ever seen. Is The View really break this down just so well, and so yeah, I mean, The View is just so good, and I think it's part two. It's part one. Let's see. Let's see what these women have to say, because maybe they're gonna bring some truth to this world. You know what I'm saying? Let's see.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta from CNN. He made
God, Joy Behar just turned to a fucking cunt. She used to be kind of fun, but now she's just, God, she's annoying now. Like, she's a legit, a what's the word, a Karen kind of shit. Is my homegirl Anna, what's her name, Anna something, the Hispanic chick on this? Is she on this? 'Cause I love her. She's awesome.
from CNN. He made an effort to speak directly to people who are still too thick-headed to listen to science and get the damn shot. What did he do? He sat down with...
That joke didn't land.
What did he...
Oh God, I love that. Let's watch it again.
to science and get the damn shot. What did he do? He sat down with one of the most outspoken and popular, unfortunately, vaccine skeptics, Joe Rogan. Watch.
I still think it'd be better not to get the virus.
I mean, of course, it's always better to not get whatever sickness. What the fuck kind of statement is that? I think it's better to not get AIDS. I mean, the fuck. Anyways, let's where my girl's at.
I still think it'd be better not to get the virus.
I think it'd be better to get the virus and recover and have amazing immunity to
But
it.
what, like,
Wouldn't it be?
Well, you could get sick, though.
You know what I think you should do? I think you
get
should get
sick.
vaccinated and then get sick.
What?
This is why. Because then you got...
See how he has he's genuinely smart. He's making a joke, and the Gupta guy laughed himself. But I mean, let's see how these women just break it down just so well.
This is why.
Will there be a voice of reason on this show? I don't know, but let's check it out.
Because then you got the vaccine protects you from a bad infection, and then you get COVID, so then you get the robust immunity that's imparted from having the actual disease itself.
So for you,
That's actually a pretty fun point that he brings up. Like, wouldn't that be like the super thing to like fight off? So you get like the vaccine and you fight it off, so you're like double safe or triple or whatever the fuck. But whatever.
Actual disease
He's always joking,
itself.
or maybe he's not, like CNN panelist said.
so for you, Joe Rogan.
Yes.
I would say you've had it.
Yes.
So now get one shot of the vaccine.
No.
Yes, let's listen to a radio talk show host and
Do you think they play out the rest of that clip? Because he had pretty good reason to. But let's just listen to Joy. I mean, she's just so great.
So now get one shot of the vaccine.
No.
Yes, let's listen to a radio talk show host instead of a scientist and a doctor. So, you know, clearly Dr. Gupta did
Oh my God, her jokes are not fucking landing.
you know, clearly Dr. Gupta did not change Joe Rogan's mind. So,
But you know what?
do you think an interview like that, where he goes on his turf and speaks to Rogan's constituency, do you think that that would work?
I don't know, Joy, but he's got 200 million listeners a month.
What?
So, yes,
he does.
He's the #1 rated podcast
Oh, my
on
God.
Spotify.
Yes.
And so even if it's
You could just sense the jealousy when she said that. Like, what?
Yes, he does.
He's the #1 rated podcast
my
on
God.
Spotify.
Yes.
And so even if it's 0.001 that Sanjay was able to change the mind
Yeah.
of, it's a significant number. And I give them both kudos because a lot of times I feel people go to outlets where they don't agree to pick fights and become clickbait.
You know what? She's actually not bad in this. So far. Because she's something, man. This Anna chick. Anna Sanchez? What's her name? Fuck. Whatever.
I think people come to this show to pick fights with us and then sell more books or sell.
It's not necessarily a picking fights thing. It's just establishing your point of view. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like everyone likes to view everything as a debate, as a, versus thing. But sometimes it's just, I like this, I don't like this. We talk, and we have a good time. Anyways, let's keep going.
More, get more viewers. They had a very civil conversation that lasted 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I think it was very honest. And I think it's important to get insight onto what some of these people that we disagree with on the vaxxers are thinking and why they are.
He's so
hesitant.
arrogant. This is what it is. Shut up.
But no.
Way to really shit on her point there. I mean, look, man. Again, Anna was actually kind of sort of the voice of reason there. Kinda, and Joy just has to cunt it up.
So arrogant. This is what it is. Shut up.
But no. To your point, Anna, Joe, I know Joe Rogan because we did stand up
You
together.
know him?
Yes, I know Joe.
he's a
very
comedian?
well. Yeah, he's a comic. He's a stand.
Oh God, that fucking face of her. What was her name? Not her, the other chick. Just this.
Yes, I know Joe.
he's a
very
comedian?
well. Yeah, he's a comic.
Oh God. Someone's like married to that. Oh man.
He's a stand-up comic. Yeah, and to your
So
point.
we're not supposed to take him seriously.
No, not. He's a very smart man, and 200 million listeners. There's a lot of people who.
God, people like this really don't like comedians. It's fun. It's weird when people have this notion that comedians aren't smart. I kind of think the other way around. I think to be funny, you have to sort of be quick in your head, and to be quick, with how you think. That it's very hard to do, to be comedic and to be funny. It takes a certain level of genius to kind of be really funny. Just because, you're going based on silly premises here, it doesn't mean, just because you're not like quoting Plato all the fucking time doesn't mean that you're not smart. But anyways, let's keep going.
feel the way that Joe Rogan.
Oh, let's go back.
A lot of people who feel the way that Joe Rogan does.
So we are supposed to take him seriously in his
if you don't agree,
anti-vax stand?
well, that's why you listen to him and Sanjay, because they had a very respectful
Wait a second, just
discourse.
God, I don't know who this woman's name is. Because I believe it or not, I don't watch The View, but man, dude, I think she's kind of taken the crown from Anna. I mean, at least in this clip, because damn, dude, what a bitch.
He's a comedian doesn't mean you don't take him seriously.
But I'm wondering if he's joking about his
No,
stance.
he's
I
not
don't think
joking at
so,
all.
no.
No, he's not joking on his podcast. He's very serious. And I love that Sanjay Gupta went on there, because if you don't go on there and just talk to somebody you disagree with, then we would never have any kind of discourse.
We
don't have conversations. We don't have a conversation.
I don't think it's about. Sanjay said he went there to understand his thinking.
Right.
Yes.
I love Sanjay. We work together. We used to do these medical legal segments on CNN. Sanjay is a brilliant man. I'm not so interested in understanding the Trump mind. I'm not so interested in understanding the anti-vax mind.
She sounds so wonderful, this woman. Oh my God, like, so nice and just so inviting, this woman, I swear. You know, so undivisive, you know, so uniting. Sunny Hostin.
Sanjay said he went there to understand his thinking.
Right.
Yes.
I love Sanjay. We work together. We used to do these medical legal segments on CNN.
There's a part 2, so we're gonna check the part 2 after this, because this is good stuff, man.
Sanjay is a brilliant man. I'm not so.
But see, this is why I can't stand. It's like the need to clump people up like this, and this is why I would have to say this is a problem with the left. Like, what did Trump have to do with this? Like, they just... Oh my God. But she's great. This woman, I tell you.
So interested in understanding the Trump mind.
But why not? Like, I mean, as a talk show host, like, that is kind of your job, to talk and understand people and give your viewers an understanding of these things. Like, why the fuck would you not want to understand these things? And, you know, oh my God, dude. How do you expect any kind of unity when you have this attitude? You just...
I'm not so interested in understanding the anti-vax mind because I'm not interested in understanding crazy.
But
I don't think
I mean, I'm not even...
you can make sense of crazy.
Fuck yeah, I want to see part 2.
Going on vaccine skeptic Joe Rogan's podcast. You know, Joe Rogan, now I understand he has 200 million listeners.
Yeah.
And there are people who want to go after him for it, and Howard Stern is one of them. And Howard Stern probably has a similar audience to Joe Rogan,
Yes.
maybe. And I just want to read you what Howard Stern said to him. Quote, "We have no time for idiots in this country anymore. We don't want you. We want you to all either go to the hospital and stay home, die there with your COVID. Don't..."
See, it's shit like this that makes me feel that, like, that they want a mandate, and yeah, man, like, I'm not...
Take the cure, but don't clog up our hospitals with your COVID when you finally get it.
But I have to ask, like, these people, you know what I mean? Do you think that, like, 100% of the earth, even animals for fuck's sake, get the vaccine, that it'll just disappear or something? Like, it's not gonna work like that. Holy fuck. We probably are just gonna have to kind of live with it. Anyway, that's just people.
That is a very, very harsh statement from Howard Stern directed at Joe Rogan.
But then I don't think by saying you're an idiot is going to change a person's mind. That's why I love
Sanjay didn't even change his mind.
But you're not going to change your mind. You're not trying to.
Sanjay didn't really change anyone's mind. It's just, you know, they just had a good conversation. Like, it's okay. It's not about changing people's minds. It's just about to understand them, I guess. And yeah, like that's fine to do. And this woman, dude, I swear.
His mind.
But you're not going to change your mind. You're not trying to change Joe's mind, but out of 200 million people that are listening, there might be a mind change. And Sanjay respected.
What should she have said?
He respected Joe enough to actually go on there.
I'm not really sure if he would have changed anybody's mind. I mean, he kind of looked pretty, I wouldn't say bad, but I mean, the thing that I mostly care about the conversation was him getting into CNN lying. That was the most important thing. Yeah, I mean, that's a very valid thing that's a problem when you have an outlet lie in such a negative, such a overt way. I mean, I doubt they're going to push on this because that concept of a mainstream outlet that these guys most likely suck the dick of, I don't think they're going to ever, like, the concept of introspection is not going to happen with these people.
Respected Joe enough to actually go on there.
No, I'm going to jump in here. I think we need to have more conversations, not less. We right now run to our own echo chambers, and we would rather have applause from preaching to our own choirs than actually moving the needle at all. I think this was so important to go on there, not to convince Joe Rogan, and not to have the intention of convincing anyone else. Provide the facts. Answer with science. Let people make up their own minds. That's the problem in this day and age. We're telling people how to feel. They will feel what they want. Give them enough.
I bet you they're gonna push back on what this is. I mean, it's a fair point that she's making, you know. But let's see if I think Sonny Histon's gonna have a fit about this.
They will feel what they want. Give
Look at that face.
Give them enough information that they make that decision and win on merit. Dr. Gupta did something very interesting. When he got there, he pointed out that Rogan sells masks on his site, even though he wasn't a big mask. And he gave it to him as a gift during the interview. And then he also brought up to him during the interview, when I got here, there was a rapid test done to me. And then they also pricked my finger for the presence of antibodies.
So he's a hypocrite on top of
it. And Dr. Gupta...
I think he probably would have did that on Sanjay's part, but
Dr. Gupta showed up and said, by the way, to all you listeners, I just am providing facts. He didn't bring emotion.
Sanjay is a very, I think Sanjay is a very effective spokesperson because he's not as politicized and demonized as some of the CDC, NIH doctors have been, right? So I think listen, Sanjay Gupta is not just a TV doctor. Sanjay Gupta is a real doctor at Emory University doing neurosurgery.
But the other thing about Joe Rogan, if you look at his, yes, he has all of these listeners. That's so wonderful. But some of the stuff that he has said, he's transphobic.
Here we go. Yeah. Again, this is just going to be a he's a bad person kind of angle that she... Let's give her a better still. Okay. Yeah, but now they're just working that he's a bad guy because he has this history of things that I never really took the time to really listen to his context. But I've heard that he's bad. But okay, let's go.
The thing about Joe Rogan, if you look at his, yes, he has all of these listeners. That's so wonderful. But some of the stuff that he has said, he's transphobic. He's Islamophobic. He has said racist things. I mean, another one with the trifecta of bigotry. And these people...
Another one of the what?
Racist things. I mean, another one with the trifecta of bigotry. And these are...
Do you have examples of this? Do you? I mean, I doubt that she... I really doubt that she has no idea what the fuck she's talking about. I think she's just heard these things and is just using that to define Rogan as wrong, you know?
And these people continue to listen to him. He has advised young people, if you're young...
I mean, like with the transphobic thing, like, is it the UFC thing that he talked about? Okay, let's the UFC thing that he talked about with the Phil and Fox, because it was fair points what he was making there. He had Abigail Schreier on. Abigail Schreier did the book. I think it's fuck. What is it? What's it called? I think like something damage. Abigail. Irreversible damage, yeah. Yeah, there it is. But yeah, she, again, a respectable conversation. But again, just
bigotry. And these people continue to listen to him. He has advised young people, if you're young and you're healthy, don't take the vaccine.
what's wrong with that?
I think if you are still listening to him, knowing his history.
Again, you can sense that jealousy coming in that face.
Listening to him, knowing his history, I'm not interested in reaching out to you.
See, again, like, these are the people. That attitude is what causes division. You know what I mean? Like, do you want people to just bow down to your opinions or some shit? People come to different conclusions. That's fine. Oh, fuck, man.
I might be crazy, and they might be. You know, you might want to call them crazy. You might.
But, like, the conversation, it wasn't, like, he didn't sound great. Like, his reasoning is very fair. Why are you just throwing out the word crazy? Like, his exchange, and Sanjay Gupta agreed with a lot of what he said. You know, with the, the clip that CNN cut out, this part, what is it? This little exchange, he agreed with them.
Immunity, then I would.
Shot of the vaccine.
No.
Why not?
Because I have better immunity than I would if I was vaccinated. Right?
Yes.
Don't I?
I think your immunity is really good.
So why?
He agreed. Fuck.
They might be. You know, you might want to call them crazy. You might want to call them stupid. You might want to call them idiots. Here's the problem. That idiot might be your shoe salesman. That idiot might be your cashier.
Also, though, when people talk like this, do they not realize, like, how utterly and completely, like, elitist they sound? I mean, I think that's sort of what she's kind of driving at. The surprise. Oh, my God. What a lovely person this Sunny Histon is. She's great.
That idiot might be your shoe salesman. That idiot might be your cashier at the Publix.
And what about it?
You're getting exposed
we want
to that.
them to
You're getting
change their mind
exposed to that person who you think is crazy
well,
or
so
idiotic.
if Sherry says you don't call, what would you like him to say in 5 seconds?
What would I like Sanjay to say?
What would you like him to say? You say, don't call people idiots.
Because
What
I
should
don't
we
want
do?
anybody calling me an idiot for what I believe in.
Yeah.
You were going to change my mind when you have a respectful discourse, because I want to make my own decisions. There are people that still listen to Joe that still are, they're wavering. And because Sanjay...
More people that listen than watch this show, probably. Maybe. I don't know. How many views does this have? I got that like to dislike. Wow.
Jay went on there and said things about
Rogan for the win on that one.
about the mask and about the pricking the finger. They might go, oh, if I can change one heart, another heart can change another heart.
I hope you're right.
But Rogan's... They frame it as that, like, Rogan is against everyone taking the vaccine, and that, like... I think it was in the CNN clip, like, he's, people that need it, older people, people overweight, whatever, they should probably take it. But, like, it's this way to, like, kind of characterize him and lump him up with some crazy identity that, like, it makes, like, it's the only thing that these people have to, like, go after. It's not the rationality point. It's not, like, the reason. It's just the, equate this person with crazy and fuck him, People are lovely.
and a little great.
I hope you're right.
Amen.
Not an idiot.
Sherry,
And yes.
Okay, let's see what the comments say. This is a fan. Is it? As a young woman, I find the women of the View to have deeply inspired and motivated me with a near perfect example of what not to be. If I'm lucky and I work hard, I hope someday not to end up like the bitter old woman they are. Ah, wait. I don't like that one. Again, see? He's not a hypocrite. He's never denounced COVID. He's always taking precautions. He's not skeptic. He feels people should have the freedom to choose. Is there any like people? Wait, someone mentioned Howard Stern. But yeah, that's man. First time I've watched a View clip in quite some time, and that was fucking brutal. Holy fuck. Let's see. Man. Anyways, let's I think I've had enough of this. But anyways, so it turns out that CNN actually doubled down and tripled down on this shit. Let's see. What was the statement? It's this clip. Okay, yeah. This is some article from Hot Air. I never heard of this, but it seemed like a. I'm just going based on this thing right here, but let's just read this. Gupta admitted that his network shouldn't have misrepresented Joe Rogan's treatment. The most basic concession an employee of a news organization can make when they're caught having gotten something wrong, when Wimple contacted CNN's PR department for comment expecting a similar mea culpa, though he got surprised. CNN wasn't as conciliatory as Gupta was, to the contrary. The heart of this debate has been purposely confused and ultimately lost. It's never been about livestock versus human dosage of ivermectin. Well, then why bring up the standards? Whatever. The issue is that a powerful voice in the media, who by example and through his platform sowed doubt in the proven and approved science of vaccines while promoting the use of unproven treatment for COVID-19, a drug developed to ward off parasites in farm animals. See? My God. The only thing CNN did wrong here was bruise the ego of a popular podcaster who pushed dangerous conspiracy theories and risked the lives of millions of people in doing so. Jesus Christ. The heart of the debate is whether exactly. This is a good point. The heart of the debate is whether CNN has an ethical obligation to the truth. Let's go down. Vaccine skeptic. Let's check out this other thing right here. The likely truth. Gupta didn't make an issue of the false report about Rogan inside CNN because he feared that correcting it would be more harmful than good. He's worried that people are taking ivermectin, an unproven treatment, in lieu of getting vaccinated. The reports about horse dewormer make the treatment sound nuttier than it is, steering the public away from it. In Gupta's heart of hearts, I bet he thinks CNN's fake news about Rogan was a noble lie. Not unlike Fauci claiming at the start of the pandemic that masking doesn't work because he wanted to preserve the existing supply of masks for medical professions. It's untrue, but it was thought to serve the greater good. Yeah, they're just never going to, like, what do you call it? They're never going to just let up at all. It's really something, man. It's really unfortunate that that's... Like, am I crazy into saying that who here just wants peace and who here just wants a form of dominance? You know what I mean? Like, isn't it kind of obvious? Like, it makes you wonder... It makes you kind of wonder, like, how people approach these things. Like, do people just? I think this is kind of like the overwhelming kind of pattern that most people get, because this stuff is just boring kind of for people. I realize that. So for those people, like, how do you view this sort of debate? This is a question for you, like those people, the people that just sort of are passerby kind of people. How do you view these things? Like when you heard Rogan got sick, ivermectin, horse dewormer, did you just take that as, take that in faith and just went by, or did you kind of go, there's probably more to that? I don't care. Like, I think that's the main thing that a lot of people are curious about nowadays. The people that like pay attention more to these things, they're more curious as to like the passerby people, like how much do they take as truth versus opinion and fact. Like it, you know what I mean? That's something that like I kind of am curious about. But let's check out. Yeah, they're just trying to frame it. And again, like, it was a fine conversation. And Rogan called them out, called CNN out on their obvious lies. And now they're just saying, oh, he's just mad because he's, like, bruised his ego or something. My God, dude. Fuck. Let's check this little part out. Yet CNN statements sound more like the work of an advocacy group than a journalist's outfit. The issue actually begins and ends with the integrity of CNN's content. If we take Rogan's prescription claim at face value, and CNN hasn't challenged it, then the network's coverage was slated in some cases and straight up incorrect in others. If you prescribe the FDA human version of ivermectin, then you're not taking a horse pill. Yeah. Yeah, but again, let's just move on from this, because it's just annoying. You know what I mean? Fuck. Anyways, let's kind of go more to the. Let's move on. Let's move on. Oh shit. Whoops. Okay. Let's move on from this to a similar thing. Like this kind of theme of people, of like the villain of the week for saying something that, like this telephone game of people getting shit wrong, really is going to be a common thing, and I think it's going to get worse. But anyways, let's go with the next thing and get into another than... fuck. I'm an idiot. Dave Chappelle. So... crap. Where is it? Okay, there it is. Gotta love my organizational skills. Anyways, so there's this whole thing with Dave Chappelle and the transphobic claims that he made. I just watched this special about a little before this, just to kind of be fair, and I honestly didn't hear anything that was out of bounds. There seems to be this growing trend, but let's just keep it with the trans thing, because I do think it just generally applies to everything, especially with the Rogan stuff. But anyways, that, as I said, like, but with this, let's go back. With this kind of shit, with the trans thing, there's this obvious attempt to make it so that the trans, anything trans or gay or whatever, should just never. It seems like it's gone past, something that should never be criticized, but just something that should always be praised. And, that doesn't work. That worsens things. You're gonna cause more of like a separation between, you're not helping anybody out by doing that. And, and I was watching it earlier, and, just with the idea of just taking the piss out of something and not fully praising it, like from the heavens kind of shit. Like it's getting to a point where I can't understand why people don't realize that it grows into a kind of annoyance, and that annoyance kind of boils over. But it won't boil over into fucking a genocide. It just boils over into just people just being like looking at these kind of things and just like you worsen your brand, like your movement, when you treat it as such. It's like it's like when there's a woman. It's like when a girl's getting ready to go out, and like, she does a thing like, oh, tell me how hot I look, guys. I just want to hear compliments. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you're kind of treating this shit. And, but when you put that kind of approach into this kind of shit, into the trans, gay, whatever movement, like, it makes people... It makes people kind of bite their tongue a little bit, and nothing good comes from constantly trying to like make people like walk on eggshells. It's not a good thing. It just makes people annoyed. Yeah, like you want people to be together and fun and equal. Part of being equal is, being able to take the piss out of things and being fine with it. Like I love a good offensive joke. I mean, like, fuck, where was that? Anyways, but yeah, I love a good offensive joke, whatever the joke is, because the people in that audience, there's a moment where people they're forced to laugh, but I think it's more uniting for people to laugh at an offensive joke that catches you off guard. Because, that's just, it kind of breaks that weird wall that people have, that uncomfortable kind of, should I say that? When you just laugh, but everyone laughs, and we all just kind of realize that, we're just having fun. We're just people. But when you do this kind of shit, it just really just annoys people. Let's see. This is a clip. Let's play this clip of this speaker.
So my name is Ashley Marie Preston, and I am the organizer for the Stand Up and Solidarity Rally, and I thank all of you for being here today.
But, see, also, I listened, and I'm one of those people, I can really listen, you know what I mean? It's one thing, it's dangerous when people just feel that they should be offended by something because something they ballpark something and they don't give any specific details. That's most likely the case here. We're gonna kind of get a little bit more into that.
In support of the employees at Netflix of trans and non-binary experience and their allies and accomplices. I think the message that many people expect for us to deliver today is one around why it's important to cancel Dave Chappelle. And so I want to make it very clear that I think the message that many people expect for us to deliver today is one around why it's important to cancel Dave Chappelle. And so I want to make it very clear that this isn't an instance of cancel culture because I've invited Dave Chappelle.
What? You just said it's important to cancel him, but it's not an example of cancel culture? The fuck? See, again, this is why people just get annoyed at the movement. And it's not hate, it's just...
I think the message that many people expect for us to deliver today is one around why it's important to cancel Dave Chappelle. And so I want to make it very clear that this isn't an instance of cancel culture because I've invited Dave Chappelle to have transformative dialogue with us on multiple occasions. And he has made it clear that it is not of interest to him. So
what if he's just busy? You know?
Just to be clear, this isn't cancel culture, but an avoidance of accountability when we've invited you to be.
So it's not cancel culture, even though you're trying to cancel him, but just because he didn't want to meet with you a while ago, he must be canceled? Is that what... Am I missing something here?
A part of the repair that is
let's go back a bit.
When we've been, just to be clear, this isn't cancel culture, but an avoidance of accountability when we've invited.
She looks like the fucking what's that genie from Pee-wee's Playhouse? She looks like that fucking thing.
You to be a part of the repair that it takes to be able to not only heal culture, but to move all of us forward. And so, that being said, I'm here today to talk to the people that signed the check. Because Dave Chappelle doesn't have the capacity or the power to sign his own check. It is about Netflix. And more importantly, it isn't just about Netflix, it's about a corporate culture that manipulates the algorithmic sciences to distort the way that we perceive ourselves and one another. It is the emergence of hate economy, of corporations profiting and making money off of us getting.
Can you give an example of something that he directly said and how it contributes to this vague, like, stop with the vagueness. Just give me a direct example. You know what I mean? That's all I'm asking for.
At one another's throats. They're making money out of our inability to understand intersectionality and what it means. And for those of you who may not be familiar with the term intersectionality, it describes multiple threats of discrimination when an individual's identity overlaps with multiple marginal.
Well, technically, I mean, if I remember correctly from the, because I remember I saw the clip about a couple hours ago. I mean, he does do. He brings up this. Did I write it down? Shit. He says something like if like slaves wore booty shorts and oil, that they would have that slavery would have ended like 100 years before or something like that. So he is technically equating both in that fashion of the intersection in the way that you mentioned.
And what it means.
Let's see if I mention that.
Understand intersectionality and what it means. And for those of you who may not be familiar with the term intersectionality, it describes multiple threats of discrimination when an individual's identity overlaps with multiple marginalized communities. So what that means is that even though Dave Chappelle can be from an oppressed community, he still has the capacity to become the oppressor. And so we're here to talk about the ways in which we can't have tokenization.
Oh my god. I mean, fuck, man. Crowd members were... Hold on a second. My god, dude. This kind of shit, man, like... But like, what do you want? Like, do you not? I think it's just you want constant appraisal, and like, do you understand like how like just bratty that sounds, and like what that does to, you know, people that like just regular people, like they just don't like to be around just bratty type people, and it kind of like it doesn't help your cause. Let's listen to whatever the fuck this thing is, because this same guy was shit. Did I refresh it? Anyway, yeah, this guy was behind, kind of next to this thing, as he was talking about us. Let's see what this person has to say.
I stand in solidarity beside my sister, Ashley Moon Preston, first and foremost at this event today. She has proven herself as an activist, also a friend and a loved one to many people in her embarkment on activism. So thank you so much. Give this woman a huge round of applause. Beautiful young woman.
So you can't, like, if the only thing you are after is applause and appraisal, like, I'm sorry, like, it's the real world. People mostly aren't gonna praise you. They just don't give a fuck about you. They really don't. They have other things to do. And, you know, like, what on God's name? You can't be untouchable. And as, like, his jokes were they were good. They were nuanced. You know, he mentioned a story later on we'll get to. Let's keep going.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Give this woman.
I have to ask, like, the trans people out there. It's gotta be like, for the ones that fucking hate this kind of shit. Like, do you guys like if I see, like, if the same thing happened, and there was like a comedian said anti-fat jokes or whatever like that, and there's these type of kind of really kind of fragile kind of people trying to cancel whoever, like, I would look at that and I'd just be fucking annoyed. Like, you make people look weaker when you do this kind of stuff.
A huge round of applause. Beautiful young woman. Thank you so much for the invitation. I want to first say, as a non-binary individual, my name is David Huggard. As an entertainer and a persona, it is Eureka O'Hara, RuPaul's Drag Race. We're here at HBO. I found myself as a drag queen. I found myself as a person through that expression. Identity, expression, and sexuality are three completely different things. And I need everyone to understand that. But first, before anything else, understand that your jokes are promoting hateful and discriminatory behavior and conversation.
How? Just how? To make that claim is a very big claim. Okay, I'm not going to say so-and-so is, you know, bringing up violence or whatever like that. Like, I'm just based on I heard. Oh my god, dude.
And that is what hurts us.
Oh, the fucking snapping shit. Oh god. Oh man. I went to school with people like this, and I gotta say, you know, people throw out the, you know, like, oh, those are just extreme kind of thing. Like, I've dealt with these people, like, when they're not in activism mode, when they're just amongst themselves, like, they're really kind of the worst people you'll ever meet. Like, they're arrogant, they're snobby, like, they have a culty kind of, like, we love you, like, they're kind of culty. You know what I mean? Fucking snapping shit.
Behavior and conversation. And that is what hurts us. That is what is hurting us. It is not the fact that you laughed at it. It's the fact that you're laughing in the face of our pain. You're laughing in the face of us telling.
But, you know, some people, you know, get over things through laughter. I mean, that's just the reality of these things. Like, I know, like, I can take a pretty brutal joke. I don't mind. And a lot more than the next person, you know what I mean? But it's the... It's not... It's taking away... It's an attempt to take away those people's attempts to try to, you know, calm themselves down. Like when I was younger, I would make fun of how fat I was because that was just a way for me to sort of get over things, but also like not take things so seriously. You know, and it's annoying when people try to take that away from, you know, from us. Like, yeah, like there was some trans people in the audience that I have the fucking thing about them. I took some screenshots actually of like some what's the video I'm working on? Where is it? Where the fuck is it? Oh wait, here it is. Yeah, there are these heifers. There are these women in the background. I mean, I think these are the same type that are kind of like these other types mentally. Although there was this moment where they didn't seem so like they were having so much fun. But yeah, some people just, that's how they get over things. They use laughter. And you have to be fine with that. All right, let's keep going. This idiot.
That what you said wasn't okay, and it's affecting people in a negative way. As we move out of a pandemic, we all had a year where we all had to feel alone. We all had to feel afraid. Well, now we come out of that pandemic and we stand together as one. Whether you're trans, whether you're a person.
How many of these people actually watch the special? I'm genuinely curious. Like the person, this woman right here, and this I explain. I fucking pay attention. This chick right here, that's like nodding and stuff like that. This chick. Do you honestly think this chick watched a comedy special that's like I think like a little over an hour, like an hour and a half or something like that? Do you think they sat through that? Because I was watching it, and you know, like he touches on COVID stuff, and like I said earlier, like people are being conditioned to just assume that if you're walking into like, I guess, enemy territory as far as subject matter, that like the only thing that comes out of it is just something irreprehensible, and like there's no way back. Oh man, it's really fucked up, man.
Of color, whether you're non-binary, whether you're a white privileged person like I am that gets to step into this world with a different amount of privilege. So it is my responsibility with that privilege to make my voice louder alongside people that do not have the opportunity to speak out loud without being shot, without being murdered, without being hit, without being torn down to an inch of their life, being forced into sex work, being forced to not have a legitimate.
See, again, you're equating a comedy special to something that's going to drive people, to murder and fucking commit violence. Like, these are very big claims to make. I mean, I fucking seriously. Like, I just watched this fucking special. Like, this is what I have to, like, ask. Whenever people have this cancel kind of mindset, like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Like, if Netflix just never responded, you know, like they just said, yeah, go fuck yourselves, and they just kept going. Like, what on earth do you think the worst is gonna happen? And is it, like, even realistic? Like, give me something, not just this vague, it's gonna add to just the transphobia and all this shit. Like, fuck, man. Again, you're not helping your cause.
Without being murdered, without being hit, without being torn down, turned into their life, being forced into sex work, being forced to not have a legible, living life because they don't get the respect they deserve at work, they don't get the roles of power that they deserve, and they don't get the recognition for the creativity that they have. I will not speak any longer because I want my moment to not take up as much space as hopefully other trans people of color here today, other non-binary people, and anyone else that wants to stand in solidarity for people of difference that are hurting, and it's time to create change. I love you all and thank you for your time.
But also, when I see this kind of stuff, I'm almost, I don't know how else to put it, but it's more sad to me see people, like, believe that they are genuinely as weak and as brittle and as hopeless that they've sort of been conditioned to believe. You know what I mean? I mean, fucking Dave Chappelle talked about how he liked the Stonewall people, like they were tough. You know what I mean? Like, why would you think it's good to live your life believing you're so fragile? Like that's one thing I wanna I have to ask, like, what good does it do to you to just have that kind of mentality inside you? I mean, don't you want to be strong? Don't you want to, like, have a go fuck yourselves, I'm gonna do this kind of mentality? Instead, it's like, I can't, I'm just so weak, you know, only say nice things. That's not reality. I don't remember this in the thing. Maybe I did. This is fun though. Last week, Netflix fired B. Pagels Minor, weird name, a non-binary employee. The company claims shares information on the economics behind. Wait, hold on. Netflix fired B. Bagels Minor, a non-binary employee. The company claims shared information on the economics behind the viewership of The Closer with Bloomberg. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if it's in a contract thing, then that makes sense. Whatever the fuck this name is, was among the speakers at the event. They read a list out of demands. Of course they did. We'll go into those. Calling Netflix to invest more, blah, blah, blah. And this is what they said. There's just a clip of that? I didn't see it. I want my child to grow up in a world where they see that their parent, a black trans woman, black trans person, because I exist contrary to what the special says. When did he not say that? Contrary to what many people say, that I am valued and that I am an important person. Oh, fuck, man. So, there's some more clips of this is a comedian that was kind of assaulted by one of these people. Such peaceful people, you know. It's just so great.
Why is he breaking my sign? Why is he breaking my sign? Don't you have free speech rights? Don't you have free speech rights for all of you? Oh, look, there's such a fine. He's got a weapon! He's got a weapon! He's got a weapon! He's got a weapon! Oh, you want me to drop my weapon? Yes. Okay, and leave. There's my weapon.
Wait. Did they take the sign down and say because he's just holding a stick, he has a weapon? Is that what happened?
We're not trying to have any discussion. I'm not discussing anything.
Oh, God. I wish... Oh, my God. Someone has a fucking Text the Rich shirt on. Yuck.
We're trying not to have any. I'm just here to say that jokes are funny, people. Dave Chappelle is a funny guy. I love Dave. I don't know why.
Let's see if we can find that list. Tax a rich guy. See? They're taking the sign down. They're gonna rip it up. This fucking douche.
Why is he breaking my sign? Why is he breaking my sign? Don't have free speech rights.
He's obviously kind of having fun. And he means no harm. And his sign just says, "We like Dave."
Free speech rights for all of you. Oh, look, there's such a fine. He's got a weapon. He's got a weapon. He's got a weapon. He's got a weapon. Oh, you want me to drop my weapon? Yes. Okay, and leave. There's my weapon. We're not trying to have any discussion. I'm not discussing anything. You're talking We're trying not to have any discussion.
I'm not sure how much you guys can see of this because it's pretty small, but
Here to say that jokes are funny, people. Dave Chappelle is a funny guy. I love Dave.
he's saying he likes gays. What the fuck?
I don't know why.
I freaking missed it. Whatever. But let's see. Let's see if we can find those listed demands that they put out, because they're good. Let's see what the demands are. They always have fucking demands too. It's fucking hilarious. Black Lives Matter had demands in 2017, and they were fucking insane. Now these people have demands. Let's see what they are. Create a new fund to specifically develop trans and binary talent. See, like, there's a weird power element in a power element to this. Like, I think they had these things in mind for a while, and they just use this to sort of try to make it a thing that we can gain some power. There, let's go. This fund should support both above the line and below the line talent. Why should they have money? Why should they? I mean, what the fuck for? I mean, you can create your own funds, you know, you can have your own fucking drive if you want. Whatever. This fund should exist in addition to existing creativity equity fund. There we go. increase investment in trans and non-binary content, and fuck yourself. Invest in multiple trans creators to both scripted and non-scripted programs. Well, I mean, like, Netflix does have, like, that kind of shit, don't they? I mean, I honestly barely watch Netflix, but, I mean, whatever. Revise internal processes on commissioning and releasing potential harmful sensitive content. Oh my god. Including but not limited to involving parties who are a part of the subject community and can speak to potential harm, or consulting with third party, blah blah blah. See, I'm telling you, man, like, this shit just makes you guys look weaker and more desperate, and you just annoy people when you do shit like this. Let's see. Increase the ER, blah blah blah. Okay, hire trans what? Hire trans and non-binary content executives, especially BIPOC. Oh, I think that means something person of color. BI. Binary intersectional person of color, I'm guessing, maybe? I don't know. In leading positions? Go fuck yourselves. Employment relations and safety, of course. Recruit trans people, especially BIPOC, for leadership roles in the company. Why? And I mean, I'm putting money. I'm definitely gonna put money that Netflix is gonna fucking cave into some shit like this. Let's see. Allow employees to remove themselves from previous company promotional. Wait, what? Allow employees to remove themselves from previous company promotional content, i.e., allyship and diversity videos. I don't know what the fuck that even means. Eliminate references, imagery of transphobic titles or talent inside the workplace, including but not limited to murals, posters, room names, swag. Again, man. Maybe I was like this. This is
Even though these are meant to be high-end phones.
It's funny that I'm reading this in like the commercials, like just this super, just a super dyke. Like, what are the odds that this person is one of these people? Like the fucking this kind of shit that is offended by this. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're one of the dope ones. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Where was I? It's like, how fucking weak do you want? Okay, there it goes. Harm reduction. Because, you know, every day they fucking, it's like Gladiator every day that they go through fucking, you know, they go through snake pits and fucking avoid booby traps. Harm reduction, okay. Acknowledge the harm and Netflix responsibility for this harm from transphobic content, and in particular harm to black trans community. Add a disclaimer before transphobic titles that specifically flag transphobic. Huh? Oh, that specifically flag transphobic language, misogyny, homophobia, hate speech, etc. as required. Boost promotion for disclosure and other trans-affirming titles in the platform. Suggest trans-affirming content alongside after content flagged as anti-trans. Get the fuck over yourselves. That's the last one. We are employees, but we are members too. We believe that this company can and must do better in our quest to entertain the world, and that the way forward must include more diverse voices in order to avoid causing more harm. The trans ERG, whatever that means, looks forward to working with the company to make this a better, more entertaining place for us. Sincerely, Trans Netflix. Fucking annoying, dude. How are regular people supposed to take you guys seriously, but also, like, not only take you seriously, but, like, want to, like, I don't know, like, befriend you guys, I guess. You know? Again, like, I'm with Dave. I miss the fucking Stonewall gays, man. You know, the Brendan Easton Ellis gays, you know what I mean? The ones that were just chill, didn't have this obsession with identity and all this shit. Like, I'm gonna do a thing with the whole identity thing, why I don't like it. Because it's fucking something, man. Yeah, dude. The fuck is going on? Let's see if I can find it. Okay, so in the story, this is why I know these people didn't fucking watch this shit, and it's fucking annoying. He closes the show with a story about his friend Daphne. Daphne Dorn. Would we watch a part of it? It's a 13-minute clip, but I guess let's watch a little bit.
Before I go, I want to share this story with you because it's important to this point. He punches lines, and he's a master at his craft.
Okay.
Tight, hug me, squeeze me, and I push her off violently because I'm transphobic. I said boundaries, bitch.
Again, that's a joke. All right.
When Sticks and Stones came out, a lot of people in the trans community were furious with me, and apparently they dragged me on Twitter. I don't give a fuck, because Twitter's not a real place. And the hardest thing for a person to do is go against their tribe if they disagree with their tribe. But Daphne did that.
I think this is the main thing right here that is really ironic about this thing. This point he's going to bring about with Daphne and the going against a tribe thing. Well, let's just...
Their tribe if they disagree with their tribe. But Daphne did that for me. She wrote a tweet that was very beautiful. And what she said was, it was almost exactly what she said.
Let's read the tweet, because, let's see, where is it? Okay. Okay, punch. Oh, shit. Okay, here it is. Punching down requires you to consider yourself superior to another group. Dave Chappelle doesn't consider himself better than me in any way. He isn't punching up or punching down. He's punching lines. That's his job. He's a master of his craft. Let's see what happens.
She said, punching down on someone requires you to think less of them. And I know him, and he doesn't. He doesn't punch up. He doesn't punch down. He punches lines, and he's a master at his craft. That's what she said. Beautiful tweet, beautiful friend. It took a lot of heart to defend me like that. And when she did that, the trans community dragged that bitch all over Twitter.
I wonder if any of the activists mentioned any of this. I mean, I wonder if any of them got to this part or like I think a good number of them did, and they just had no response. So they had nothing else to say. So their response is just to cancel it. But whatever.
For days, they was going in on her, and she was holding her own because she's funny. But 6 days after that wonderful night I described to you, my friend Daphne killed herself. Oh, yeah. It's a true story. My heart was broken. Yeah.
You think does this add to whatever this fucking douche was talking about them being murdered and stuff like that? Was Daphne killing herself? Or did they not mention that? I'm telling you, I'm curious. I think some people did maybe have watched it, but they just had to cancel it because they had no other way to react but just to cancel it. And the most of them just never watched it. They just heard he said something transphobic, so it must be shut down. Do you guys like that behavior? Like, do you think a world like that is going to be a good one?
It wasn't the jokes. I don't know if it was them dragging her. I don't know what's going on in her life, but I bet dragging her didn't help. I was very angry at them. I was very angry at her. I felt like Daphne lied to me. She always says she identified as a woman, and then one day she goes up to the roof of a building and jumps off and kills herself. Clearly, only a man would do some gangster shit like that.
But yeah, dude, like, interesting fact that these people seem to kind of leave out. Yeah. Killed by suicide, and I mean, this is a very this is like the thing that sort of ties the special together. But I really don't think they gave a fuck. Anyways, apparently, bummer, man. So apparently, so Dave Chappelle is supposedly gonna meet up with Netflix employees, but he's sad by his art. Let's see. Dave Chappelle, 48, came under fire to disparaging remarks made about the transgender community. How are they disparaging? People are being really loose with, like, terms nowadays, and, you know, this is part of, like, why genuine conversation and this kind of stuff is beginning to get killed off. Because just shit like that. Anyways, let's keep going. The comic says he's willing to meet with Netflix employees who are upset over his jokes. His rep notes that protest organizers did not reach out to him directly about the protest. Dave stands by his art. The spokesman for Chappelle tells Yahoo Entertainment. Both sides of the street are talking, and Dave is listening. At some point, when everyone is open, I'm sure our community will come together. As Dave said in the special, no more jokes about transgenders until we can all laugh together. Alright, I mean, it's... let's see what these fucking assholes talked about. I mean, I really, like, what more do you want? Fuck. Let's see. So they're supposedly gonna meet up with them, so. Yeah. But apparently, even the Netflix boss. What the fuck? There it is. The Netflix boss kind of bitched out. I didn't cancel the thing, but yeah, this is what he said. Okay, obviously I screwed up that internal communication, he told Variety in an interview published on Tuesday the 19th. I did that and I screwed up in two ways. First and foremost, I should have led with a lot more humanity, meaning I had a group of employees who were definitely feeling pain and hurt for a decision we made. I think that needs to be acknowledged upfront before you get into the nuts and bolts of anything. I didn't do that. So he also said, of course, storytelling has a real impact on their life, the 57-year-old admitted. I reiterate that because it's why I work here, that it's why we do what we do. That impact can be hugely positive, and it can be quite negative. In all my communications, I should lean into the humanity up front and not make a blanket statement that could land very differently than it was intended. However, he refused to condemn the special. Good for him. Good for him. And that's a good thing to hear. Under the definition of does it intend to cause physical harm, I do not believe that it falls into hate speech. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay. It keeps going. I mean, I guess that's kind of it for right now with this whole Chappelle thing. I mean, how many... This is a nice little thing right here. Daphne's... Another thing is, yep, I'm the Daphne that Dave Chappelle was talking about in Sticks and Stones. Actress, activist, author, advocate, Amazon. That's your fucking thing. But anyways. Jeez. Christ. Looks different here. That looks different there. This one, the angle's a little bit more pleasing. This one has a bit of a fucking Iggy Pop thing going on here. Ugh, God. Anyways, I guess I'll start winding down. Alright, so I guess that's the episode. Oh wait, should we go with the Brandon thing? Yeah. Let's just real quickly tell you. So Bryson Gray, he's a rapper. I'm not sure where he's located in. He's kind of a pro-Trump. I wouldn't say totally just pro-Trump. He's just a fuck the left kind of rapper. We need more people like that, honestly, because it's just kind of fucking irritable. But yeah, supposedly definitely. Another one of his songs, because he's been banned all over the fucking place. He's a black guy. And, yeah, he got banned from YouTube for a song called Let's Go Brandon. For video. YouTube bans Let's Go Brandon video for medical information. Is there a clip of a song that I could play? There's gotta be something. Okay, I can kind of play a little bit here. Can I? I don't know if I can. Yeah, see? YouTube banned it. But, so yeah, it's been banned. Here's the lyrics of it. Let's see what exactly. Is there any medical information? I'm gonna doubt no, but let's see what there is. Brandon, I keep on trouble. The pandemic ain't real. They just planned it. They just planned it. And I'm pretty sure that's enough for them to try to claim it as misinformation, I guess. I don't know. I'm curious to see like what the defending of this shit is going to be like, and the reasoning behind this, because like ultimately, like, do you want a society where people can't question authority, where like mainstream publications constantly defend it, but also like, you know, fucking like censor any kind of opposition? Like, do you guys want that? He brings up the Taliban, you know. Gotta listen to this one. Fuck. Let's see. Gray, who has worked with Alexander, Thursday, posted, YouTube has banned Let's Go Brandon from YouTube due to medical information. What medical information is in the song? Whoa. Clarify you might be able to still watch it. It's banned. The music was still up for now, but the lyric video was banned, which means the music video is coming too. Let's Go Brandon has become a rallying cry for conservatives outraged at the Biden administration's policies, including mask and vaccine mandates, soaring inflation, and supply chain woes. It is a proxy for a more vulgar chant that has been raging across America and packaged sports stadiums, where the crowd repeatedly calls out "fuck Joe Biden." The chant was raining down on NBC auto racing broadcast of a race won by Brandon Brown, while the crowd chanted "fuck Joe Biden." The NBC reporter falsely claimed the crowd was saying "let's go Brandon." Actually, let's find a clip of that just so people can know what the fuck we're talking about here. There we go. Wait. Okay. Wait, is this one?
Advertising on YouTube helps me reach engaged customers like Jenna, who's been searching for landscapers on...
Oh my God, it's just such an unbelievable moment.
Brandon, you also told me, as you can hear the chants from the crowd, let's go, Brandon. Brandon, you told me you were going to kind of hang back those first two stages and just watch.
Let's go back a bit.
The crowd. Let's go, Brandon. Brandon, you told me you were going to kind of hang.
Wait, let's see what the closed caption says. Let's see.
Let's see. As you can hear, Brandon, you also told me, as you can hear the chants from the crowd, let's go, Brandon. Brandon, you told me you were going to kind of hang back those first two stages and just watch and learn. What did you learn that helped you there in those closing laps?
Oh my God, it was
that's great. Anyways, let's finish off this thing. Let's see. NBC's misinformation was mocked as liberal activism and cover-up for Biden's election. Well, yeah. Oh, man. This is some shit, eh? Yeah, man, the fucking censorship's going insane nowadays, man. That is not good for the future. Nothing good comes from censorship on this level. Anyways, I guess I'm gonna just close it right here. All right. So maybe next time I'll just do a live stream. I'll probably do these more often. Be a little bit more in the flow with it, because I think I'm gonna have more time on my hands to kind of do this soon, if you know what that means. And yeah. So thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. All right. See you. Bye.